Standing By, the Terry and Ted podcast, is sponsored by Jaguar Land Rover Laval. Get out of the big city and experience a construction zone-free test drive. There is such a thing.
Hello, Ted.
How do you do?
I do fine, thank you very much. I was just showing you my martini shaking skills.
That's pretty good, eh? I'm not, as you well know,
Yes.
I'm not much of a drinker anymore,
No, sir.
and I never was a martini guy.
No, and I never was either. It's an acquired taste, and I think it comes a little later on in life.
Is that right, eh?
Yes.
They say the same about Scotch. Scotch is also an acquired taste.
Sipping whiskey?
Yeah, is that what they call it?
Well, no. In cowboy movies, they
Oh,
call it
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
good Scotch is a real elegant, quite an affair.
Yeah, in cowboy movies, I don't think it was the highest quality of whiskey that they use.
No, I don't think so.
I always liked how a dentist or a doctor in a cowboy movie, he always had a bottle of whiskey,
Yeah.
a knife or a saw,
Yeah.
and a stick for you to bite down on.
Yeah.
Take a drink of this, bite down on that stick, and I'm going to cut off the bottom half of your leg.
Yeah, good luck to you. It's episode 5 of Standing By, the Terry and Ted podcast, season 2, and we're just the room is recovering from episode 4. If you haven't seen it with our guest Tommy Schnurmacher, everything from, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but fascinating and funny stories from both communist Hungary and the Holocaust.
Yep.
And I know that sounds absolutely moronic, but check out episode 4.
You have to hear Tommy tell the stories about his parents and in particular his mother who survived Auschwitz. And Tommy wrote a book about it.
Yeah, longtime friend of mine whom I worked with over the years, and also is an author, speaker, as Ted has said, a raconteur, and a very, very dear friend who I love very much and hadn't seen in a while. So the air in the room. You know, it's we were in the presence of a hell of a raconteur. So we got to up our game, Ted.
Well, listen, Tommy's too tough an act to follow, so we're not having a guest in this episode. It's you and me and our producer, Poseidon. How you doing over there, Poseidon?
Yo, yo, yo.
How did you like Tommy's stories?
Very fascinating.
It was, wasn't it?
I love World War II stories.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a blast to listen in on that.
We've had an interesting day today, and we should. I preface this by saying I'm now a resident of British Columbia, and I fly into Montreal to do these podcasts at this amazing facility that Pantelis and Mike Ward and Phil and Poseidon all are the overlords of, and have given us this opportunity to come into the studio. And this morning we were at our what we call our title sponsors have returned for season 2. We were out in Laval, Ted.
Jaguar Land Rover Laval are back as our title sponsors. They are longtime friends of not just this podcast, but of the Terry and Ted radio program from back in the day. Nino and Renato Di Cubelis, Nino and Renato Di Cubelis, two brothers, own that dealership, and the next generation is coming along.
Yeah.
And we spoke this morning with Vilio. We saw Vilio Di Cubelis, Nino's son, when we were up there. And he was telling us, along with Adrian McGrath, who's their marketing director, Vilio is a graduate of the John Molson School of Business. And his brother, Sergio, is a graduate of the Automotive Business School of Canada, located in Barrie, Ontario,
I didn't even know
at
it
Georgian
existed.
College.
Yeah.
Nor did I.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you that when Nino and Renato decide it's time to put their feet up and light a big fat cigar, the business is going to be in good hands because it's being passed along to, it's not just being handed over. They're not just giving the kids the keys and saying, away you go, kids, enjoy. It's being passed along to two young men who have paid their dues and have learned the business, both at the educational level, at the formal educational level, the academic level, and at the practical level. So that's a dealership that's going to be in good hands for a long, long time.
Like we say, we love family-run businesses, and this is one.
How did you like their car collection? Their personal car collection.
Pretty special, let me tell you.
Yeah, down in the basement at Jaguar Land Rover Laval on Chomedey Boulevard is Nino and Renato's personal car collection. and I don't even know how to describe it. So let's show a few pictures.
Okay.
And for those of you who aren't watching the video of the podcast and are just listening, we won't go on at length, and we will describe what we're looking at here. Poseidon, I emailed Poseidon a few pictures of just a few of the cars in the collection. And as you can well imagine, at a Jaguar Land Rover dealership that also is Eastern Canada's only McLaren dealership, the only McLaren dealership east of Toronto, you'll see some McLarens. There's one right there. That's not a bad looking vehicle, eh?
Yep.
I don't know how you'd handle Montreal roads in that thing, though. I just don't know.
I don't know how we'd get in it.
Well, I think I could get in it. It's getting out that might be the challenge.
I think it's drop and roll.
Hoisting yourself out.
Yeah, it is getting out. That's a big issue. Because I got into an i8 once and I just plopped into it, but then getting out was very complicated.
Not an easy thing to do. So that's a dandy right there. What else have we got, Poseidon?
Just a second. I got to do something.
Kind of like getting invited to somebody's house to look at slides.
Yeah, but they're pretty nice slides. They're nice cars. There's another. Did you figure out what model that is?
I can't. I think it's a Senna. I'm not 100% sure. Because what's particular of it is over here. People can see right now where I have my mouse over.
Yeah.
Is these vents are much more different from the other. The other one I think was a 570 or a 720.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Keep her moving.
Hold on.
And this is us on the beach. After we got in.
Do you want to bail?
No. We'll show one more.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. Let's make this. Yeah. If you're listening, it's not as good. We'll make this the last one.
Yeah, okay.
This is the
F-type.
F-type, but it's modified to be a race car. There's a number 7 on it and the racing car stripes and the whole 9 yards. I'll bet you that thing honks pretty good, Ter.
Now, this is a personal collection. These are not up for sale.
Some of them are for sale.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the cars we saw in the basement there today are for sale, including beautiful cherry red Cadillac CTSV. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
that
CTSV.
Yeah,
I think it's a CTSV.
That thing goes.
Yeah, that's about 500 horsepower in a Cadillac. And
Yeah.
I didn't look inside, but some of those, I remember going with you and test driving one time.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's basically
6-speed manual.
Yeah, it's basically a sedan on crack and steroids.
Here you go.
I think they put a Corvette engine in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's a dandy. And when we left, they gave us Discovery Sport.
Yes.
To drive around for the week. I'll be taking Terry hither and yon in the Discovery Sport. Last time around, they gave us the Jaguar F-Type Coupe. And the day that I was supposed to take it back, I was going to work and I was going across the Illitort Bridge, and there was a big flash of light.
Man.
Yeah. Photo radar. And at the time, the Illitort Bridge was a construction zone.
Wow.
So I told them, if you get a ticket for photo radar, that's me. Make sure I get it. Gotcha. I haven't heard from them yet.
Visit them online, jaguarlaval.ca or landroverlaval.ca. Did I say it right, by the way? No,
Yeah.
Jaguar.
Yeah. You're getting much better.
Good practice.
Much better. Yeah.
We're thrilled with them, and having them back was really great for them to support season 2. And as I was saying, it's fun to come back and visit. We had visit with them this morning, and we're going to have a few more visits, I think, before the week is done.
When I spoke to Terry just before we got to the studio to record season 2, he said, "Remind me to tell you the story about losing my wedding ring." This might be a good time.
All righty. This is a story that causes me some terrible trauma. I got married on COVID Eve, as I like to say. Jess and I were married in a very small ceremony with just family. March 12th, 2020. And we were the last wedding at the place we got married. And we were the last dinner party at the place. My favorite steakhouse in the country is called High's Steakhouse. We were the last party they had before they closed.
Pre-COVID.
Before COVID. It was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. We consider ourselves very lucky. We know we have a lot of friends, or at least my wife has a lot of friends. She's much younger than I am, and she's got a lot of friends who've been trying to get married, who have scheduled weddings and had to cancel them repeatedly. And on the one hand, we didn't get to have our honeymoon, and we had to cancel a lot of things after the wedding itself, but we actually got to tie the knot literally at the last second. March 13th and March 14th was when everything was ordered to shut down. So we consider ourselves lucky for that. I'd never been married before. I got married at the age of 61 and or 62, I forget, 2020, do the math. Anyway.
Yeah.
Later on in life, and we had rings done here in Montreal, and they were very, they were special. There was an inscription inside it, and it meant a lot to me. And when I, months before I was retired, I was going to the gym with my old friend David Snively, and one day I was doing an exercise that required my hands to go up and down over my shoulders, and my ring flew off to the other side of the gym. And we found it, but David said to me, you need to get that resized. And I said to him, it's not like I'm dropping weight. I don't know what the deal is. And it just, for whatever reason, it came flying off. And I, like all guys, I procrastinated and I didn't do it. And in April of last year, when we were getting ready to leave a rented house in Point Claire and get to British Columbia, I was doing some work around the house and putting some things in boxes. And at one point I went, oh my God, my ring. And we began this fight, through these boxes, and where did you put it, and did you work on that? Anyway, it took us an hour and a half. We found it in the bottom of a box. And I was beside myself, and I said to my wife, that's it. We've got to get it fixed. And we didn't. And last week, I was doing errands. Retired people will understand this. You a lot of time to do errands. And I got a list from my wife, who's working from home. We need this, that, and the other thing. And off I went. And sometime during the course of 3 stops, I went to scratch my left hand, and I realized my ring was gone. And I nearly threw up because I had been to 3 different places. Being in British Columbia, driving with the window open in January is not uncommon, and I was. My hand had been out the window, and I thought to myself, and I honest to God, I got a giant lump in my throat, and I began to tear up because I thought, you idiot, you asshole. You had 2 chances to fix this, and you didn't, and now you're going to pay for it. So I went back to a couple of the places I stopped at, and I began to come apart at the seams, and I thought the best thing to do is go home and tell my wife what's happened. So I drive home, and I get home, and I said to her, she came to see me at the door, and she knew right away. She said, what's wrong? And I could barely get it out. I said, I've lost my wedding ring, and I was choked up. Yeah. And she calmed me down, and long story shorter, or long story longer, we went back to one place, and then we went back to a Walmart that I had been at, and she said, park exactly where you parked and do exactly what you did 2 hours ago.
She'd be a great mom. Retrace your steps. Yeah.
Right. So I park in the same spot I'd parked in, and I get the basket and I push it towards the fruit and veg section where I picked up bananas. Anyway, I'm digging in the milk fridge because I had bought milk. And she said, where did you go next? And I said, then I got the eggs. And my nose was still in the eggs when I heard, sweetheart. And I turned around, and there was my beautiful wife, Jessica, standing in the middle of an aisle in Walmart, and she had picked my ring up off the floor.
Oh, my God.
Had been lying there in the middle of a Walmart floor for 2.5 hours. No one kicked it. No one picked it up. Someone could have kicked it under the fridge. Like, so many things could have happened, and I confess, I burst into tears. I wasn't sobbing in the Walmart, but I was so relieved and so happy for the third time lucky that I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe our good fortune, and I couldn't believe that retrace your steps actually worked. And I think it was because of, Jess's tenacity and her. She said, we're going to go and we're going to retrace all your steps and we're going to leave notes at the counter and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got it back. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I've got a thing on my finger, but it's just a silicone reminder.
So that's not your actual ring? The ring is getting resized now? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We've I've decided that's enough. We're not tempting fate anymore, and the ring is at home and being resized. But how's that for I think I'm going to shit my pants story? And I was convinced. I'm not really a believer. Are you a believer in, ooga booga, the fates and all of that stuff?
I think I heard a great expression one time, and I believe in this. Coincidence is God's way of maintaining his anonymity.
Ah, okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Poseidon, do you believe in the fairy dust of good fortune?
I believe in kind of like karma.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I had good karma.
Yeah.
So
actually, maybe my wife had good karma.
Or your wife, yeah.
Because she just found it.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it goes both ways. Maybe you both had good karma and it paid off finally.
Yeah.
But I thought I tempted the fates too much because
that's for sure.
Twice.
I
promised myself, and twice I ignored it.
Yeah, but you weren't malicious or anything like that. And to me, when I think of karma, I think you get back whatever you put out into the universe, that's what you're going to get back. I do believe in that for sure. Right. But when it comes to coincidence, I like that. Coincidence is God's way of maintaining his anonymity.
That's a great saying.
Maybe the big guy was up there going, cut him some slack.
Yeah.
No.
I won't let anyone kick it under the fridge.
And your wedding rings, Ted?
I don't even know.
Really, eh?
Yeah. I've had two.
You've had a couple.
Yeah, I've had two, and I couldn't even tell you where they are, to be honest with you. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, and the other thing that struck me about this is I don't know the good nature of people. Maybe nobody saw it. I think if somebody's maybe it just didn't look like anything. It was it was this kind of color. It sort of blended in with the floor.
So sort of a pewter sort of a color.
Well, it's white gold, which looks platinum, looks sort of silverish, and I thought, well, maybe.
I think there are plenty of people who would have recognized that as a valuable ring.
And
I would like to think,
yeah,
or pocketed it.
Yeah. Have you ever lost something where you wanted to?
What section of Walmart did you lose it in, by the way?
The dairy section. And I don't even know how. Like, it was in front of where I pulled eggs out. I have no idea how it fell off, and I don't know why I didn't feel it fall off. I'm one of those distracted guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't think of anything that I've ever lost where I would have been in the kind of state that you would have been. Yeah, because that's like a wedding ring is.
It's very special.
It's it's hugely. I mean, it's valuable, but beyond that, it's symbolic.
Yes,
the sentimental value is.
To me, it's attached to that day.
Yes,
that was a day that I'll never forget. Special to me.
And was there when she found out that you had lost it after not resizing it twice? Was there a hint of anger at all, or was she was just let's go find it?
Yeah. She was.
That's good.
Yeah, she was terrific.
Had you permanently lost it, would you have made one that looked exactly the same? Maybe?
Well, my wife did say, knowing how upset I was, she did say on the way to retrace our steps, she said, "Sweetheart, we can get another one." And I said, "That's not the same thing. That's not the ring that you slipped on my finger at at the lodge on March 12th.
It doesn't hold the same sentimental value.
No, it doesn't. And I'm a believer in I look at pictures, for example, and I look in pictures and I think of the time and place and the people, and that makes the picture special to me. I often wish I could climb into a picture and go back there. You know what I mean? You have a picture of somebody who's who's passed on, or a place that was special to you, and you look at like those things. Maybe I'm just a sentimental fool.
So you'd like to go back in time, but not to change anything, just
not
to
to
feel
change
certain things,
just to relive that experience.
Not to change anything. Like sometimes I look at a picture, of us when I was, I don't know. I'll look at a picture of a particular Christmas, or I'll look at a picture of a particular time and place in my life. And I close my eyes and I think, wouldn't it be cool to crawl into the picture and be back in that time, not change anything, and just, take a quick look around. And, if you were able to crawl back into 1975, and...
Hey, maybe with VR we might be able to.
Maybe, like... Go back to 1975 and pick up a copy of the Montreal Star, and maybe listen to an Expos game, or what I mean. Like just for a minute, visit that time and place where that picture was taken. That's the kind of a moron I am, that I have these.
No, you're not a moron.
Fantasies.
I don't think you're a moron. I think it's a very legitimate thing. A lot of people think of that. There's even Black Mirror episodes that, Black Mirror is like a show about the near future, the technologies that can be introduced.
Yes.
And the way it works is that people have contact lenses on top of their retinas, and the way it works is it records every instance you've ever lived.
Wow.
So then what happens is you can go back and replay those memories, and it's as if you're there again. You're just reliving the memory.
Wow.
I've thought that maybe the next life allows you to do those things.
Okay.
Only you're disembodied from the experience. You just go back and you can go anywhere you want in time and witness what is happening. You're not physically there or physically involved in it, but you're there in spirit and you can witness it.
That also would be cool.
Yeah. And maybe if the next life, if there is a next life, and it's what you would like it to be, and if that was on the menu,
right,
I think I might take that.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, and I'm I was raised I'm a lapsed Catholic. I was raised a Catholic kid, and the next life is a belief that a lot of people have. I think Buddhists believe that, don't they?
Buddhists are reincarnation, I think, aren't they? They're all about reincarnation.
Yeah. Buddhists and Hindus.
Yeah, I'm not up on my religion, and I shouldn't have tiptoed into that pool. But I've often thought about that, and I think, I don't want to come back as a caterpillar.
No, I don't want to be a dung beetle.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
but again,
if
I
you
think
had your pick.
Yeah, I think that I would think that if that's the way it goes,
right,
I would think that you come back according to how you behaved.
Okay.
You come back as what you earned.
Okay.
In the previous life.
I think it's because I'm tired that I'm going to say this. I'm not. I shouldn't have said I'm tired because I'm not bored. But it's been a bit of a long day, so I'm going to let things slip. I often look at my cats and I think, now this is an interesting life.
Listen, you're not letting any. I've thought the same thing. I see that fat cat of mine asleep on the couch all day, and I think, fuck, I'm in.
I think,
where do I sign up for that?
They don't pay taxes.
Yeah. I think to myself, that's what I think. We got two cats, Casey and Finnegan, and I think they don't have to worry about any of the bills. Right, no. They don't have to pay taxes, and on the other hand, they don't have thumbs, so they can't open the fridge. They got to eat what I give them.
Yeah, they're totally entirely dependent.
Yeah, right. And they get treats when we decide they get treats. But other than that, they're in a house where they're spoiled, and they sleep most of the day. And I think to myself, I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder if they think,
I don't think they're thinking a whole lot because they have tiny little pea-sized brains.
So they're not thinking, hey, we lucked out. These are good digs.
No, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, if you guys could pick what you'd come back as, what would you come back as?
Oh, man, that's, often like that's how I got on this cat thing. And I thought, I don't know, their cats are quick and you can get away. Dogs, I thought, what would you come back as a dog? And then I thought, the dog is a bit of a crapshoot because, I've known people who are not good dog owners, and we've all seen the stories.
Yeah.
The horror stories.
Well, same thing with cat owners, but
yeah.
But cats are strong and independent. So.
Yeah, and You think about, coming back as I don't know.
Does it have to be an animal?
Yeah.
No.
Like I'd like to come back as a really good-looking, wealthy guy who's smart and funny and not an asshole. Can I do that?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah. You know what? If I could go back in time, as we were talking about, I'd change a lot.
You mean in your run?
Yeah,
You would.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't change a lot, but yeah, there are some things I might reconsider.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a difficult ladder for you to climb because you've got 4 beautiful children.
Oh yeah,
you know, and that I can't think of a bigger blessing in life.
Yeah, and I've heard another good expression in the same place I heard the one about God and the coincidence and anonymity. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it.
Oh, okay. I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look back on your past.
Yes.
You can recognize what you've done wrong,
Right.
and you can learn from those mistakes and try to be a better person because of those mistakes. And that's why you wouldn't shut the door on it, because you have to be open to all things. Is this getting way too philosophical?
I was just about
Is it time for the tweet sheet?
I was just about to say, Terry and Ted, noted philosophers, will discuss the afterlife.
It sounds like we both just ate a great big chunk of hash.
The afterlife.
I think they're high.
With Terry and Ted. Well, that's the I think that's part and parcel of what's always made our dance work, whether on the radio or the podcast. Ted, is we very easily will drive down the road together wherever it may take us.
Yeah. Audio slideshows and talk of the afterlife. This episode will do well.
Yeah, and you're old enough to have been around during the slide projector.
Oh, sure, yeah. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. This was a funny one. This was the day it rained. It's like, no, thank you. Yeah. I'd like to take a moment to thank and welcome our new sponsor, UPS Stores Canada. UPS Stores Canada are a place that I've used a bunch of times. I was talking about, me packing boxes and moving when we lost the ring. And at one point when we were getting ready to leave and we thought everything had been packed, my wife said to me, shit, look at these dishes. What are we going to do with these? And Jess said, I know what we're going to do. We're going to take them to the UPS store, or you're going to take them to the UPS store, where people will ask you where the stuff is going. And they'll take care of the wrapping, the packaging, the boxes. They've got everything that you need to run a small business. If you run a small business from home and you're looking for shipping, you're looking for paper shredding, you're looking for photocopying, faxing, it's all one stop shop to look after everything, whether you're a small business owner or, like I've said before, you need to send, a box of gifts for Christmas, that kind of thing. The UPS store does it all.
The UPS store.ca.
Yeah. Our thanks to David Drucker.
You want to meditate now?
Sure. Do you have a bong? Not a bong. What do they call? Gong.
A gong?
A gong. Yeah.
Hold on.
I've come across these. Are you on TikTok much?
Not much. No.
Yeah, I watch.
Well, it's pretty. There's some pretty funny stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, I watch TikTok for the stupid stuff and the falling down and everything else. But for some reason, last night I was getting a lot of this kind of stuff. Did you find it?
Yeah. For the meditation.
Yeah. This little boom, that kind of thing.
People actually go to TikTok for meditation?
I guess they do.
That'd be about the last place I'd go for meditation.
Yeah.
Isn't it all goofy videos?
Well, it's all it's everything. I mean, it's everything you could possibly think of. It's people with, cooking lessons, cooking hacks, kids on skateboards, people plowing into trees, drunks falling down.
Yeah, there's I would say an infinite amount of subsections you can land on in TikTok. And
boy, can you fall down a TikTok hole in a big hurry. I mean, my wife doesn't like me watching it, forever. But this week, I'm in a hotel room by myself, killing time, and your eyes can get pretty wide and white just going from one video to another.
You know, it's the Chinese, eh?
Oh yeah,
TikTok. They're using that to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's anybody who has an iPhone knows they've been following you for years. Yeah.
What do you think? Tweet sheet?
Tweet sheet. We should explain. It's a new feature in season 2.
Well, the tweet sheet, I think we did a couple at the end of season 1. It's something I do on my radio show where I pick three tweets every day that I think are funny, and I read them on the air. And we've come across a few, or I've come across a few over time that I couldn't use on the air because the language was salty. So I thought maybe we could use them here. Mm-hmm. And we were so engrossed by Tommy Schnurmacher on episode 4 that we've got a double tweet sheet here in episode 5 because we didn't get to the tweet sheet in episode 4. So let's see what we've got here, shall we?
Okay.
Who are those two handsome bastards? George Wallace. You know George Wallace, the comedian?
He is a riot.
Just saying, groundhogs are going to have to pick a side when the shit goes down between the ground and hogs. He's a Vegas guy. Eh? He lives
he's
there
been in
year-round.
Vegas for years and sells out every show he does.
I'll bet he does. Jesus, who wants some gluten-free wine and bread? Judas, this is the best gluten-free bread I ever had. Jesus, only the wine is gluten-free, LOL. Judas, shitting his robe. You'll pay for this. We might go to hell for that one. Yeah. That was from @Frazzle My Gimp.
That's
the name of the account.
Just a moment, gentlemen.
Another one on the way.
Another one incoming. From @the Andrew Nadeau. Girlfriend, tell me your wildest fantasy. Me, Grimace. Girlfriend, from McDonald's? Me, no, Grimace from Hoboken. Yes, from McDonald's, you fucking weirdo. Grimace from Hoboken.
That's funny.
For Frank Sinatra was born.
That's right.
That's right.
Used to hang out with Grimace back in the day.
The other ones.
Okay, all right, sir.
For Senor.
And again,
this one's very good. I really like this.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
From @Abby Evans XO. Got fired as a henchman for suggesting we all attack the hero at the same time. They don't do that. Yeah.
It took a second to click.
Yeah, in a James Bond movie, they all attack him one at a time. You dummies. Gang up on him. From @the wife you love. Rinse the fucking peanut butter off the motherfucking knife before you put it in the motherfucking dishwasher, motherfuckers. I can attest to that.
Yes.
From Married Life with Children.
Yes.
Yeah? And the other one is turn your fucking socks right side fucking out before you put them in the fucking laundry hamper. And that goes for the rest of your fucking clothes as well.
I have a question because
yes, sir?
I don't own a dishwasher.
Okay.
You don't own a dishwasher? Nor do I, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Why is rinsing the peanut butter off so important?
Because the dishwasher is not powerful enough to get the peanut butter off the knives. You got to rinse them, and it goes. You got to rinse all your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher. You should.
I agree. You should, but I have learned later on in life that dishwashers, like cars, get better as you move up in models.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Here's one from @Leon. Socrates.
This one's amazing.
I am wiser than this man. He fancies he knows something, although he knows nothing. Daryl, Socrates' friend. Fuck him up, Socrates. I guess that was like an ancient Greek rap battle, eh? Socrates versus Plato.
I cannot look at Socrates on a page or written on a screen without thinking of Socrates.
From Bill and Ted's Excellent
Absolutely.
Adventure.
Every single time.
Did you ever, that movie's before your time, Poseidon. Did you ever see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I haven't, no.
I think Poseidon would like it.
Yeah,
I think it's up his alley
as well.
Yeah,
you'd like it.
Isn't it the with Keanu Reeves and that other fellow?
I don't remember the other actor's name. He never went on. Yeah, well, he didn't go on to be big like Keanu Reeves. No. Yeah, they called Socrates Socrates, and they called Beethoven Beethoven.
Yeah,
you know what? It's about two guys who don't know anything about history, and it's really It's a funny concept.
From what I understand, they're trying to start like their own rock band or something.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's
They end up.
subplot.
They end up. I forget how it happens, but they end up bringing these guys from history to the modern day.
Yes.
So Socrates comes into modern day. And I think the movie was made in the early 90s or maybe around 1990.
Right.
And I think my favorite scene was when they brought back Beethoven, and they took him to the mall, and they went into a music store, and Beethoven is sitting at a piano, and he's kind of tickling the ivories a little bit, and I forget if it's Bill or Ted says to him, "Oh, cool, dude, you play?" And Beethoven turns around and just gives him a fucking look. Doesn't say anything, just gives him a look like, "I'm Beethoven, fucking idiot."
You know, that movie is kind of the premise of what I was talking about earlier, which is going back into pictures. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
It's kind of like what I was alluding to earlier. There's a whole movie made about, the fantasy of time travel.
Well, you see, there's Beethoven and Socrates, and the boys were coming back from...
Right.
Yeah. From the past.
Though, Bill and Ted were going back and then
getting them, and then bringing them back,
Yeah.
George Carlin was their conduit.
That's true.
As I recall.
Yeah,
he was the
true.
magic man who made it all happen.
I don't know if you've done this, but I did this, 20 some odd years ago. I remember when I was in my teens and early 20s, I wanted nothing to do with black and white films. I just thought anything in black and white wasn't interesting. And then, when your brain starts to develop, you realize black and white movies have stories like all movies. Mm-hmm. And you start to go back and watch movies that stand up to this day. I'm still a Turner Classic Movies fan. And I think there's a lot of movies through the 80s and 90s that I think stand the test of time and would be good for people who don't or haven't watched them to go check them out, like Poseidon and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I think there are a lot of movies he probably hasn't seen.
Yeah, well, I think there are a lot of 80s and 90s comedies that would be right in Poseidon's wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's weird, that it sort of comes back like that.
Yeah. What are some of the old black and white ones that you like?
Well, for example, I never had any desire to watch The Maltese Falcon. The Maltese Falcon it's black and white. It's Humphrey Bogart. It's a brilliant classic. I didn't watch Casablanca until I was in my 40s.
Yeah, I saw Casablanca, I think, when I was about 30 something. Yeah.
And there are all kinds, The Grapes of Wrath with Henry Fonda, and all of the movies from that era. Some of them are considered cinematic classics.
Yeah. Do you find the
excuse me?
Is the acting different, or is acting?
There was a different style. There's a whole lot of this.
Well, yeah. Listen, sweetheart.
Yeah. There was a lot of overacting in those.
Okay,
days.
yeah.
But there's a film from I think it's 1938 or 39 with, and I'm going to forget now, Clark Gable, and it's considered to be one of the first buddy comedies. In term, like a man and a woman doing this, sort of trip on a bus. I think it's called "It Happened One Night." Will you look that up for me, Poseidon? It Happened One Night with Clark Gable, 1938. I think it was 38, and I stumbled across it one night, and I thought, this thing's funny as hell.
Really,
Yeah, and really entertaining. And if you can get past the fact it was black and white, and it was 1938, it was the dialogue, the acting. All of it was absolutely terrific. Cary Grant, My Girl Friday. These are not movies. I wasn't born back then, but these were movies I discovered later on in life. Is that?
Sorry. 1934. It happened one night.
1934. Holy shit.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of that. Hey, sister, you come with me. There's a lot of that. My wife and I were talking about, you watch some of those things, or if you watch Mad Men, there's some things that are never going to come back, like Toots.
Yeah.
Hey, Toots.
Yeah.
Listen here, Toots.
Yeah. That doesn't fly these days.
But there's a lot. If you love movies, I highly recommend you go back, no matter what your age, go back 25 or 30 years and have a look around and see what was what was a hot movie and have a look. I think you'd probably enjoy it.
Have you gentlemen tried watching Steven Seagal movies?
Never have.
Yeah,
no.
I tried once. I think I saw one where he was on a Navy ship.
Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Under
I
Siege.
think
Yeah.
I went to the theater to see.
Yeah,
that.
that's the one that my father had hidden porn on the VHS.
Yeah.
Why are you a fan, Poseidon?
Of
Steven Seagal?
Absolutely not. But I'm just saying it's a good thing you guys never really watched.
Yeah.
Or you won't watch because you're doing your brain cells a favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
He dodged a bullet in one movie.
Like literally?
Somebody put a gun to his temple.
Oh my God.
Pulled the trigger, and he moved out of the way and dodged a bullet.
Wow.
I got so upset. I was very physically upset. It was 2 a.m. in my apartment.
And now he's still here.
Yeah. And I wanted to fight someone at 2 a.m.
I don't know if you're. Are you have you seen super sad movies in the theater where you've tried to have to pretend you're not crying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The last one of those I saw was actually the last time I was in a theater, I think, which goes to show you how long it's been since I've been in a theater, COVID. Green Book?
Book.
Was that the name of the movie with Vito
Yeah.
Mortensen?
Vito Morgenstern.
Yeah.
Bill Remfriend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that had some. That had a few.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Moments. Well, you know what? Even I cried at Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan at the end, where he turns to his wife and he says, "Tell me I've been a good man." Yeah.
That was actually that movie came to mind while you were talking about old movies standing the test of time.
Yes.
Action movies and old war movies, the action scenes do not stand the test of time.
No.
They really don't. Like the Dam Busters.
Yeah.
The Dam Busters, it's based on a true story, one of the great heroic missions, British Air Force, Royal Air Force missions of World War II. But when you watch and the part of the movie that's dialogue dependent is good, but the action scenes...
Toy boat.
And I heard 15 years ago that Peter Jackson was remaking the Dam Busters.
Really?
And it never happened.
I was just about to say that would be an excellent movie with today's
with the CGI and stuff
technology?
today. It would be but you know what fucking stunk like fucking dog shit despite CGI technology?
What?
Red Tails.
Red Tails.
Red Tails was a movie about the I can't remember the name the name or the number, the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes.
Who were a group of black fighter pilots in World War II.
You told me to watch it, and
I know. I would have told you not to watch it.
Well, I think you told me about it, and on a rainy day, I watched it, and it's toy plane.
It wasn't so much toy plane. It was that George Lucas did the movie.
Yeah, it was,
and he turned it into Star Wars. Yeah. That German fighter ace was Darth Vader.
Yeah.
To like right down to the tone of his voice and everything. And it was, I thought,
tacky.
The CGI effects were over the top. And I thought, how fucking dare you take such a fantastic, uplifting story that involved guys who were not only heroes on the war front, but were heroes in evolution, in cultural evolution, because they were black guys in the 1940s flying cover for bombers full of white guys. And there were a couple of scenes, and this happened, this would have happened in real life, where, these white guys suddenly realized that the color of your skin doesn't matter, man. These guys were flying cover for us and saved our lives.
Do I have my history right? Dam Busters was in Norway. They were trying to get.
No, it was in Germany.
Was in Germany?
Yeah, they were bombing dams in Germany. And they were using these skipping bombs.
Yeah. The British.
Steady, skipper. Steady. Bomb's gone.
Yeah, those guys were they were, if you know anything about aviation, they were real heroes because they had to fly really, really low and then get a very heavy airplane to get back up in the sky before you hit the dam.
And it seems to me, hit the dam or hit the hill on the other side of the dam in at least one instance. You knew a guy who was Robin Burns' father-in-law.
Yes.
Was a tail gunner, was he not,
Yes,
in the
he
Royal
was.
Canadian Air Force?
Yeah, his name
Fritzy? Was that his name?
That was it. Yeah. And he used to, we've talked about this before, a lot of men from that era and time didn't like to talk about it. Fritzy did. He would tell you a story.
Yeah, I knew guys who would tell you a story too. Yeah. And I think some of them didn't like to talk about it because of trauma, and others were just too humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk more about crying in a moment, but first, I want to say thanks to our friends at Matelas Bonheur. Matelas Bonheur. They still make fun of me because I'm the English guy reading the Matelas Bonheur.
I think you do a pretty good job.
I do my best. Yeah. Norm and his family have been making a better night's sleep for so many, not just Montrealers and Quebecers, but there's a lot of people that now shop online at matelasbonheur.ca. But I always like to tell you to go into the store and get the shopping experience, because too much of the shopping experience today is self-checkout, people who don't look you in the eye, you can't find anybody to help you. And when you go, this is what I experienced when I very first...
You experienced it yesterday when I dropped you off at Walmart to run in and get a couple of things.
Yeah, that's right.
Not one live checkout clerk. Not a one.
No.
All self-checkout.
Yeah, and the last-minute Valentine's Day assholes... lined up from hither to yon. Anyway, what I loved about Matelas Bonheur from the first time I went into the store was I was greeted with a nice warm greeting and a smile. And I was asked a couple of questions about what I was looking for and what I could be helped with. And was I looking for pillows or linens or, anything that had to do with a good night's sleep. And they asked me a couple of questions and pointed me in the direction and then did something that I absolutely love. They left me alone and follow me around and pressure me. We're here to answer any questions. It's a really, really nice experience. And there are a lot of times where you need a new mattress. The kids are getting bigger. They've got to come out of their bunk beds. You've got to move. You're turning the kids who've gone to college, you turn in that room into a new guest room, you need a new mattress, or you've just been on a mattress for way too long. 18 locations in and around the greater Montreal area, matelasbonheur.ca. So we were talking about crying the other day. Are we going to do this crying game on this episode?
Yeah.
We were Ted and I were talking about you becoming a little bit more emotional as with the passage of time. It just seems to be a thing where you ask your parents about it if you're lucky enough to still have your parents, or anybody who's over.
I don't know if it's a physiological thing or if it's just a thing, a sentimentality thing.
Yeah.
You've always been a little bit that way.
I have been.
And I used to be like, Jesus Christ, get a hold of yourself for Christ's sake. And now I'm worse than you.
I don't know what it was, but there are things on the
Probably
air.
the Italian in you.
Probably. There were things on the air over the years where Ted would say to me, Jesus Christ, what's the matter with you?
Stop your blubbering.
Stop your blubbering, yeah. And now Ted has joined the club.
Oh, boy, have I ever.
So we were talking about a couple of things, and we thought, now this is going to be another thing. If you're listening driving in your car to the podcast, this will be a little odd.
That's true, yeah.
But if you are watching on YouTube, and I know a lot of people do, you can watch along with the video. And what are we going to do? We're going to play videos?
Well, we got a couple. I picked out one, and you picked out one.
Okay.
Which one have you got first, Poseidon?
I think I got to put headphones on.
This one.
Hey?
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to hear audio, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this. Let me set it up, Poseidon.
Okay.
This is a little boy and his newborn baby sister. And it looks to me like, I don't know if it looks like they're home maybe in her bedroom. And so the parents have now introduced this little baby girl to her brother who looks like he's maybe 2?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I have seen this, and it did. Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm playing it.
Oh, yeah, let her go.
Here we go.
to her.
She can't talk back, but she knows what you're
Oh,
saying.
God.
You can talk. You can say whatever you want to her.
Okay. Hello.
Oh, God.
He just hugs her and starts to cry.
Well, he's overwhelmed. He's,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
overcome by emotion at I don't know, 2 years old.
Yeah, he's not any more than 3. And I would say 2.
This reminded me, and I don't know if it's a look or it's the age thing, but it reminded me of what could have happened between Sam and Charlie.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we have a picture at home
Yeah.
of Sam, because Sam is 2 years older than Charlie, almost exactly 2 years old,
Yeah.
within 3 weeks. And Sam is sitting there looking at Charlie, and Sam's got his little short pants on.
Yeah.
Charlie was born in late June, so he's wearing his little short summer pants and his little 2-year-old guy's shoes, and he's just sitting there, and he's looking at his little brother.
Yeah.
And it's just the sweetest thing.
And I brought a clip.
Is that the one you told me?
Yeah,
prior? Okay.
yeah. On the YouTube there, I posted this thing the other day, and people had needed to be. They were reminded of it. They remember it. It's a Canadian Tire commercial from the 1990s, and this is a very famous. I didn't realize how famous this commercial was. It won all kinds of awards. It's produced and written in Canada, and there are a bunch of things about it, including nostalgia, and the guy who's reading the commercial, the read, they call it the read in the commercial game. The read that he gives is just so powerful, combined with the pictures. And again, if you're listening in the car and you've downloaded the podcast and you don't have the screen, I'm sorry about that. But you can look up on YouTube, type in Canadian Tire bike commercial. And I was surprised. This I've seen this thing 100 times. My wife razzes me about this. Jess razzes me about this particular commercial because for some reason, every single time I see it, it packs me in. So here, have a look at this.
I'm sure a lot of folks can tell you the same story. You just don't forget a thing like that. I can still tell you the page number in that Canadian Tire catalog. That bike went everywhere with me. But I knew Dad had more important things to think about. I slept, ate, lived, and breathed that bike. But I just couldn't ask him for it.
Hey, boy, I got a couple new tires you can help me unload.
Boy, would I give to have seen my face that day.
Every time. Every time it packs me in that. And I think part of it is the guy's read is...
Well, his voice cracks.
Yeah, you just don't forget a thing like that.
Do you know who the actor is? I assume it's an actor who does the read.
You know what? I've tried.
It's not a radio guy.
No, it isn't. No,
hey, I'll never forget the time he rode that bike. Joe, and I wouldn't have given to see the look on my face, everybody.
Cut. That's not the read we're looking for, Don. Yeah.
Sweep on next. Thank you.
Now, this guy, I've looked it up. I've tried to find it everywhere. If anybody knows, drop me an email somewhere on our Facebook page. I've looked everywhere to find out, number one, who the guy is who read that. You just never forget a thing like that. And the kid. The kid is from Central Casting.
Yeah.
And the director must have said to him, now, your pa is going to lift the bike out of the pickup truck, and I want you to look surprised. And the kid's look is like unbelievable. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, I did it again, too. I teared up again.
Yeah, wipe those tears.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, get a hold of yourself. He's blubbering, Poseidon. All right, well, I won that round because I only cried at the first one.
You just never forget a thing like that.
Everybody.
Ted and I are always making fun. They're so... not that we were God's gift to broadcasting,
No.
but we were never those guys. There's a lot of people who, let's just say, are inauthentic, and like to do this when they're on the radio.
They like to talk like
That's
they
right.
become a parody of what you imagine a radio.
So they sound cooler than you do.
Do you know who imitated them better than anybody? Was the late great Andre Maisonneuve.
Yeah.
Andre was so good at taking the piss out of guys like that
Really?
who were like over the top radio announcers.
Yeah.
That's where I get the everybody from. That's what Andre used to do. Afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, and they would wear headphones and turn the headphones up as loud as they go,
Christ.
so they could hear themselves talk.
Yeah.
I
I believe they call that affected.
Yeah, affected. Let's say thank you to the Mersons.
Thanks to the Mersons. They're not just about tires, Ter. Although, if you need summer tires or winter tires, you can go down to Merson on St. Jock near Cavendish. Everybody!
Ted and I have been talking about them for years because a long time ago, and I mean this goes back 30 plus years. I had an older car, and I had gotten taken by a disreputable person who charged me, so much more to do something that didn't need doing.
Was that the Saab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Saab was, I loved my Saab, or as Ted used to call it, the Saab. But it was a difficult car to fix. And it's the Saab, you don't see them around anymore. It's a unique car. It was a Swedish car. The jet fighter people built it. Anyway, I'm off topic. Somebody said, well, you shouldn't have done that. You should have taken your car to the Mersons. And I said, who? And they led me there, and that's when I met Mark and Bonnie, and they said, oh, boy, you didn't really need to replace that. Just next time bring it to us. And they looked at it for me for no charge. They said, you've already been pinched. We don't want to do that. Anyway, I found out that that's what they do. You bring it in for an inspection, and they say, you say, can you look at my brakes? And they come out and they say, there's nothing wrong with your brakes. You don't need new brakes. We'll look at them again in the fall. Great deals on tires. You can trust them. And a good mechanic is really, really hard to find, and a good, honest, reputable mechanic is hard to find. That's why they've been where they've been for as long as they've been. This family-run business, where, as Mark used to say, you can find the owner at the counter.
And they're industry current. If you have an electric vehicle, their mechanics are fully equipped and trained in servicing electric vehicles as well as internal combustion engine vehicles. Even if you drive Fred Flintstone's car, they can fix that up for you. And they got a podiatrist. That would have been funny if I delivered it right. Cut. Can we do that again? They've got a podiatrist in the shop.
No, they don't. That was supposed to be funny. The Mersons will look after you no matter what you're doing. And as we get into the spring season, remember, that's where you want to go to have your tires taken off or stored and your spring tune-up from the Mersons.
And if you need new tires, the sooner you go, the better, because they're starting to think about summer tires already.
The optimists have already called.
Yep.
MersonAuto.com. This wasn't we didn't have a guest, but I think we
well, after we get past the slideshow and the whole is their life after death thing, anybody who stuck around after that, I think probably got a couple of laughs.
If you're still with us, God love you.
Yeah, really,
God
we appreciate it.
you.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. How did we do, Poseidon? Did we manage to cobble one together, didn't we?
Of course, yeah. No, it was great. I had fun. I had a good time.
I'm starting to think he's paid off because he never says anything bad. He always says we're great.
He's a good joke.
Wait, what?
Well, we've had many producers over the year.
Yes, we have.
And Poseidon ranks right up there. It's good to have
that's
him.
right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It means
Poseidon.
a lot to me.
Thank you. It's do we have a guest in the episode?
I'm sure we must, but I thought it was you who was keeping track of that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We have a guest tomorrow, but unfortunately, our guest tomorrow. Well, not
And
unfortunately.
of course, by tomorrow we mean next week.
Right. It could be our next episode.
There
Is what
you
I
go.
mean to say. We will have company via the magic of Skype.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Standing by, the Terry and Ted podcast is sponsored by Jaguar Land Rover Laval, where the luxury is unmistakably British. But nobody wears a top hat or a monocle